have always been a big fan of World Trigger's anime adaptation. In fact, since its initial airing in 2014, I've recommended the show countless times due to various reasons. Despite having a cast of well over 30 to probably 50 characters, every character feels unique and receives adequate screen time. Alongside this, the show abandons focusing on its main trio multiple times during its run for an extended duration of the time, consequently demonstrating its fantastic job in avoiding the creation of a story where every event and character interaction serves the purpose of affecting one character, aka the Deku-centric narrative. Avoiding such a writing style is essential to giving interactions and events purpose and intrigue, especially within shonen. World Trigger is also unusually militaristic and strategic for a battle shonen, which results in an increased but reasonable amount of complexity and unpredictability for each battle. The setting of the show's main organization, Border, is not like the typical school setting, which forces congregation and constant, forced interaction between characters. It doesn't force countless written exams and such upon characters for basic characterization. Instead, it functions as a lax organizational environment where no one is characterized solely by their results, but instead the method in which they come about them. Additionally, character interactions have much more weight, as they must be initiated by characters out of genuine intrigue. On the subject of character interactions, the use of squads as opposed to individual characters makes for much more complex characters and interactions. Border agents are responsible for their team makeup and must learn to communicate. While their team composition certainly doesn't define characters' motives and personalities, it gives great insight into these aspects. I could go on and on about the successes of World Trigger's narrative style and techniques for hours. In fact, I have just recently asked Reckless Peggy about how I lose my mind when I watch the show, and incessantly state how much better it is than Boku no Hero Academia. One aspect I've always been most impressed by in World Trigger, however, is its use of smaller special abilities called side effects. Side effects aren't like your typical quirk in a show like Boku no Hero where a character can just shoot fire or jump really high like a frog. Instead, side effects in World Trigger are more of what their name implies, small side abilities that serve second to fighting prowess in most cases. Gene, Border's strongest agent, has the ability of premonition, but his premonition only allows him to see futures and their likelihoods of happening. It does not guarantee a specific result, and no one future is guaranteed over another. Kageura is known as one of Border's delinquents of sorts, and he's very easily agitated, but unlike other shows where this is due to some superiority complex, this agitation is the result of his side effects, emotion, perception. When emotions are directed towards Kageura, he feels a pinprick sensation on his skin. Each emotion, anger, fear, joy, etc., induce distinct sensations. The more negative the emotion, the more painful the feeling, thus he is prone to being a victim of others' emotions. Instead of just making Kageura the scary mean guy who screams a lot for no reason, World Trigger flips the archetype on its head by making him a victim of his side effect, which characterizes him as sensitive and hasty when it comes to handling emotions. He almost literally wears his heart on his sleeve, and is angry as a result of his circumstance, as opposed to being pissed off all the time for virtually no reason whatsoever. In other shows, specifically battle shonen of the same vein as World Trigger, powers are nothing more than a combat tool. World Trigger innovates on this concept with its side effects that not only help with the events in battle, but also add depth to character interactions in the show. Characters then, despite their lax personality in many situations, are on edge far more often than in any shonen in recent memory, because there is always some background process taking place with characters behind the scenes. Personalities conflict with side effects, creating characters that are not only more layered due to being inherent victims of their abilities, but also mysterious agents such as Gene, whose tricky personality alongside his ability of clairvoyance only further adds uncertainty to various situations despite the nature of the side effects. The tension in various moments, such as during the interrogation of Hughes in episode 64, is amplified since lying can be detected by Yuma's lie detection and Kikuchi Hara's extreme hearing in an instant. This consequently creates a fear of unexpected escalation and conflict and underlying intent at any point. Side effects characterize and increase the complexity of typically menial interactions and enhance major events by increasing tension. World Trigger is easily the best shonen to air in the past few years, and this is largely due to the side effects of using side effects. Now, let's just hope these side effects are seen as an inspiration to improve other inferior but vastly more popular shows of the same genre. Boku no Hero Academia is a below-average show. 言って